What to do, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy D Dynamite here, aka MrBoxDie.com, aka Mr. Holla at your motherfucking boy. So today I'm talking about Keith Thurman versus Danny Garcia. I'm giving you guys my post-fight reactions, reviews, thoughts, all that. And let me first start out by saying congratulations to Keith Thurman, the unified WBC and WBA welterweight champion of the world. He gave us a terrific fight last night versus Danny Garcia, and what can I say? What can I say? I called it, okay? This fight went exactly like I suspected it was going to go. No matter how you look at it, Keith Thurman possessed all the necessary attributes and all the necessary aptitude in order to beat Danny Garcia, all right? The speed, he had the power, okay? He had the technical boxing skill over Danny, all right? He had the experience, he had the weight, he had everything over Danny Garcia, okay? Point blank period. There's no way you can really debate any of that, honestly. And it's just like I said, Danny Garcia, he only really had about one way to win, okay? Danny Garcia is a really good catch and shooter, okay? For those of you who aren't familiar with catch and shoot or what it is, basically it's a form of counter punching, okay? You're catching someone's punch on your glove and you're immediately throwing a punch as a result of the punch that you caught on your glove, okay? So it's basically another form of counter punching, and that's pretty much what Danny Garcia is famous for, and that's pretty much his entire offense, okay? I told you guys when left up to Danny Garcia, in order to figure out another way to approach Keith Thurman, he wouldn't be able to do it because he doesn't have any other way of attacking Keith Thurman other than trying to catch him up in exchanges. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, Danny Garcia, he impressed me a little bit with how well he could counterpunch. Okay, he's really good at it. Okay, I didn't know that he was that good. Okay, but I knew that was his only weapon. Okay, again, so again, it went just like I suspected it was going to go. Danny Garcia just does not have the weapons necessary to beat somebody like a Keith Thurman, okay? Keith Thurman is one of those guys where he can move, he can give you angles, he can punch from different directions, okay? He can throw combination punches, all right? And he has a boxing IQ. Keith Thurman really impressed me last night with his boxing IQ. The man has an IQ out of this world, okay? He knew what Danny was trying to do. All right. He knew exactly what Danny was trying to do when he was trying to do it and did the opposite. He did everything that Danny didn't like the moment he didn't like it. OK, that was his game plan, to do whatever Danny didn't like. That was what Keith Thurman was going to do. And I thought that was terrific. All right. He came out very strong in the first round, Mayweather-esque style. OK, very aggressive, very strong. And then towards the later rounds, he ended up cooling down. OK, and only doing what was necessary to win the fight. And a lot of people are going to find problem with that. But, in all actuality, when you're that far ahead on the scorecards, why risk it? Why go that extra mile in order to try to prove a point? Going into the 8th round, it was probably 7 rounds to 1. Why did Keith Thurman really need to stay on top of Danny Garcia and risk getting counterpunched to hell in order to do what? To blow him out 11 rounds to 1? Okay, the fight was nowhere near as close as these scorecards made it seem. The fact that it was a split decision, that was laughable. There was no split decision. This was easily a unanimous decision. Anybody could have seen that, unless you're a Danny Garcia fan or something like that. Then maybe, or Danny Garcia himself, or Angel Garcia, then maybe you would have the fight with Danny winning. But anyone who had was just looking at the fight objectively for the most part, could easily see that this was a unanimous decision. Danny Garcia got blown out of the water, okay? Come on, man. And for those of you who want to say that the fight was boring, honestly, if you feel that this fight was boring, it was boring because of Danny Garcia, okay? Danny Garcia, when he knew that he was noticeably down on the scorecards, he could have pressed the attack, okay? He could have went forward, okay? He could have put his head down and started winging some of those long left hooks that he likes to throw, but he didn't. He stayed back. He patiently waited. He said it himself in that post-fight interview. He was worried about those counter punches from Keith Thurman. He said it himself, okay? So he was not willing to risk what was necessary to be risked in order to win the fight. Okay, and for that reason, he ended up losing. All right, towards the end, the latter rounds. Okay, you can't get mad at Keith Thurman for doing what was necessary in order to win the fight. Danny Garcia goes in there and he's timid. He knows he's down, but he doesn't do anything to fix it. Okay, and that's Danny's fault. Okay, that's Danny's fault all together. You know what I mean? So, all in all, man, this was a very entertaining fight to me. I thought it was one of those heart pounders, because, every second of the fight, every punch that was landed, I was just like, oh, you know what I mean? I was, oh, shit. You know what I mean? Because you can just feel it that, that one punch could change the entire fight. You can just feel it. You know what I mean? It was there. And it was a terrific fight. It was a terrific fight. Kudos to both fighters for bringing us a terrific fight. Congratulations once again to Keith one-time Thurman for becoming the unified champion of the world. A lot of fights on the horizon for Keith one-time Thurman. Future looks very bright. You got Kell Brook, Errol Spence winner. You got Manny Pacquiao out there. Although I don't suspect that Manny Pacquiao will want to fight anyone worth a damn. But you have a lot of fights out there. You got a lot of up-and-comers in the welterweight division. Sky's the limit, man. Boxing looks very good. Very good, man, right now. You know what I mean? Shit. I'm going to have to do another video entirely about the state of boxing right now, because it is really heating up. There are a lot of fights getting made, and shit. All right, but back to Danny Garcia versus Keith Thurman. Oh yeah, man. The beginning of the fight, Danny Garcia, man, he got hurt. Okay, excuse me, he got hurt. Danny Garcia, and a point about that. Okay, Danny Garcia, if you watch the All Access with Danny Garcia, he talks about how he feels that emotion is like a sign of weakness, and how he doesn't like to show emotion because of that reason. So that led me to believe that in that first and second round, Danny Garcia was ready to go. But Danny Garcia is so good at hiding his emotions, all right, that he prevented the being knocked out that way, because he was curled over in pain. Danny Garcia, look, in the first few rounds, Keith Thurman hit him with a few shots, man, and it really, really hurt Danny Garcia, and I could tell, but Keith Thurman couldn't tell enough in order to pounce on him, because Danny Garcia was so good at hiding or masking that pain and making it seem like he was still ready to go. But Danny Garcia was ready to go. He could have easily gotten knocked out in this fight. All right. And in them first 3 rounds, you can see it. All right. If you were paying attention. All right. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this, man. I just wanted to bring up that last one, but those are my thoughts on this. Let me know what you guys think. Hit it up in the comment section below. You could also hit me up on Twitter, BoxX or X Die. You can hit me up on Facebook, Box -sign Die. Subscribe, all that. But until next time, it's your boy D Dynamite signing out. Holla at your motherfucking boy.